One of the biggest questions that I'm asked as a consultant working with management and leadership is how on earth do we manage this younger generation of talented people who've come into our workplace and they just don't get it. And there's kind of this frustration that older generations have because this newer generation of workers just don't seem to respond in expected ways. Well, maybe let me give you 2 or 3 tips here that can really help you out as a manager. I don't know you, I don't know your environment, I don't know the people you're frustrated by, but maybe these tips will just spark a thought in you that will be helpful. Let's start with a very practical one in terms of how you communicate with this generation. As an older manager, and I assume that's who you are if you've picked up this topic video, you probably are reasonably comfortable in using emails and text messages and mobile phones. You wouldn't want to be accused of being out of date. Your problem is it's not just about what you use, but how you use it as well. So let me give you an example. With emails, younger people are very good at sending short, sharp emails. In fact, they may have irritated you with their emails. They don't have your name at the top. They don't have their name at the bottom. They're none of the dear this person and kind regards that person. Today's young people kind of say, well, I sent the email to you, didn't I? Why do I have to put your name there? It's right there at the top in the to line. And I don't have to say who I am because that was there right there in the email before you even opened it. You could see who it was from. So all of those old niceties of letter writing, well, they kind of put them to the side. I'm not saying people should be allowed to be rude, but we also don't have to follow letter writing format in our emails. So if you're not comfortable with the short, sharp email, I mean, why not? Even a one-word answer. Somebody sends this long, detailed proposal to you, and the real thing is, can we do this or not? Well, why not just hit reply and say yes? Save you time, and it gets the issue out of the way. Simple as that. Well, that's how today's young people use email. So why don't you try doing that? Shorter, sharper emails, get to the point. Secondly, in your emails, do not put 3 or 4, or for some of you, 10 or 12 issues in one email. Young people today use their inbox as a to-do list. So they like to look at the subjects of your emails and pick up what needs to be done just out of the subject. If they can't deal with it right now, they'll leave it sitting in their inbox, waiting for an opportunity this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, when they go back and look again. If you've put in a fairly generic or a non-descriptive subject line that then lists 10 different bullet points that you want from them in the actual email, most likely they'll get to the first 2 bullet points, close the email and never look at it again. So maybe one of your frustrations with people not responding to your emails is you put too much in one email. Rather send 10 emails to the same person in the space of half an hour than one email with 10 things in it. And young people, just know you freak out your older bosses because you just bang off 10 emails at a time and they feel overwhelmed in their inbox. This is something you can talk about in your office. The second thing that maybe is a great tip for you as managers of younger people is that the older generations, sometimes called the baby boomers, are very good at telling their staff, their employees, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and who to give it to. But they normally miss out the why. Why should this be done? Think about it. The last time you gave an instruction to a younger person, and they didn't do it. Just process that conversation back in your head again and ask yourself, did you in fact tell them why? You see, you probably think the why is quite obvious. The why could be, why would it work? You told them to do something so that you could make a sale to a client. Well, it's obvious, the why. The why is that the sale will go through. But did you say that? Did you say that if you do this, buy this, and did it in this way, that it will work? Why will it work? Did you explain that? Probably not. And if you've asked them to do a particular task and it had to be done by a particular time, and you stressed that, really stressed that, but did you explain why? Not just because you said so. That's our problem, isn't it? When you asked your father why, his answer was, because I said so. And so that's your default response. We need to get beyond that. Truly, I promise you that if you haven't been telling younger people why, if you begin to give them the reason why, I think you will see a remarkable change in their attitude and in their ability to follow the instructions that you give. Just by the way, you might discover you don't have a reason why when you give somebody an instruction. Well, there's an indication to you to maybe back off and think about whether that thing has to be done at all. Peter Drucker, one of my favorite business authors, is famous for saying, "There is nothing as futile as doing that which should not be done at all." I think he was right. And if you don't have a why, well then maybe that younger person is right to not do it at all. So there are two things for you to think about: how you communicate, especially via email, and what you communicate, especially in giving them the why. Try those two things today. Maybe I've just made your day.